Here are the top stories for today, March 23, 2020. The government formulates additional programs for the poor amid the enhanced community quarantine in Luzon. Malacanang mourns the death of 3 doctors working in the front line against COVID-19. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield vows to go after businessmen that will take advantage of the COVID-19 crisis. And Malacanang slams the spread of false news regarding a nationwide lockdown. We bring you updates on the coronavirus disease or COVID-19 in the country and other top issues. I am Rom Dufo. Good day. The government is now formulating additional programs for the informal sector to alleviate their situation. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez said the additional economic package is in the works. He said the additional sustenance package for quarantine-affected workers will be determined by the DSWD, DILG, and DOH in consultation with LGUs. This assistance could result in a combination of providing food, cash subsidies for food, normal health care, and other necessities. Dominguez adds, the subsidies will be extended even to people who are not beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. This planned assistance program for the poor is on top of the 27.1 billion pesos earlier announced by the Department of Finance for the affected sectors. The House Committee of the Whole approved House Bill 6616, granting President Duterte emergency powers to address the coronavirus disease 2019. The measure allows the President to exercise powers in dealing with the health situation for a limited time and subject to restrictions. The measure also grants the President to realign the 2020 national budget if needed. The Senate is also set to discuss its counterpart measure, Senate Bill number 1413, or We Heal as One Act, which seeks to authorize the President to allocate cash, funds, investments held by any government-owned and controlled corporations or any national government agency. It also empowers the President to direct the operation of any privately owned hospitals and medical health facilities, including other establishments to house health workers, which will serve as quarantine areas, quarantine centers, medical relief, aid distribution locations, or other temporary medical facilities when the public interest so requires. Malacanang says restricting people's movement in the entire Luzon would prevent the further spread of COVID-19 in the country. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo said the strict enforcement of enhanced community quarantine in Luzon was necessary since some individuals who are unaware that they are infected with COVID-19 went rushing to their home cities and towns. Panelo said President Duterte has to isolate areas with confirmed COVID-19 cases to save the rest of the community from being exposed or infected by the deadly virus. Imposing an enhanced community quarantine means all households must observe strict home quarantine and limit their movements to accessing basic necessities. An enhanced community quarantine also requires the regulation of the provision for food and essential health services, as well as the heightened presence of uniformed personnel to enforce quarantine procedures. Individuals exempted from the implementation include soldiers, policemen, authorized government personnel, health workers, media workers, and others rendering other essential services. The implementation of enhanced community quarantine in the island of Luzon is effective until April 12. The Health Department warns against profiteering amid the enhanced community quarantine period. It also responds to the increasing demand for COVID-19 lab testing. More on this from Joyce Gudis.
The Department of Health warns against profiteering amid the enhanced community quarantine. Section 24 of Republic Act 9502, taking advantage of the current COVID-19 situation through hoarding of drugs and medicines, profiteering, illegal combination, formation of cartels, and all others is illegal and punishable by law. DOH is urging everyone to buy what is only needed to avoid shortages of medical and drug supplies to those who need them most. Meanwhile, the DOH is also responding to the increasing demand for COVID-19 laboratory testing in the country. It says only private hospitals and laboratories as well as university-based laboratories which are quality assured by DOH RITM will be authorized to process COVID-19 samples using commercially available test kits. The current testing protocol says you can be tested if you are experiencing severe symptoms, you are experiencing mild symptoms but have existing conditions, and if you are 65 years old and over. Moreover, the DOH is also looking for volunteers to help in contact tracing. Volunteers should be willing to commit at least 5 days of work with the Department of Health Epidemiology Bureau to do contact tracing in Metro Manila from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those who are interested may visit the DOH Facebook page. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
The Philippine Navy said it is providing ample assets and personnel to aid to its Coast Guard counterparts. This is to ensure that there would be no unauthorized water travel while the 30-day enhanced community quarantine in Luzon is in effect. 4 naval craft and its crew, along with 2 rigid hull inflatable boats with personnel, are said to be deployed in Sangley Point, Cavite City. These patrol boats and crew are under the supervision of the Naval Task Group National Capital Region, tasked to intercept and deny entry and exit of commercial passenger watercraft to and from Manila Bay. Navy says their maritime patrol efforts together with the Philippine Coast Guard complement all land quarantine assistance stations or checkpoints of the AFP and PNP, as well as other government agencies in accordance with the quarantine guidelines. SOLCOM. Malacanang mourns the death of 3 doctors working in the front line against COVID-19. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield vows to go after businessmen that will take advantage of the COVID-19 crisis. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Pangalagaan ang sarili laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Hanggat maaari, umiwas sa mataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong at bibig, maging malinis sa katawan at ugaliin ang wastong paghuhugas ng kamay. Takpan ang ilong at bibig kung uubo o babahing. Umiwas sa mga taong nagpapakita ng sintomas ng coronavirus disease gaya ng lagnat, ubo at sipon. Magsuot ng face mask kung kinakailangan. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Malacanang is mourning the passing of 3 doctors who contracted the coronavirus disease while treating infected patients. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo urged the public to pray for all health workers who risked their lives fighting the pandemic. He also reminded health workers to look after themselves as it was the only way they would be able to fulfill their duties. Cardiologist Israel Bactol from the Philippine Heart Center, anesthesiologist Gregorio Macasay III of Manila Doctors Hospital, and oncologist Rose Pulido of the San Juan de Dios Hospital succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 2 days. The Philippine Heart Association on Sunday announced Bactol's passing, describing him as a young, brilliant, promising doctor and a casualty of this war. Manila Doctors Hospital confirmed Makasait's passing, who was dubbed as one of the best anesthesiologists in our country. Reports showed that more doctors are in critical condition, while health workers and medical staff were made to undergo quarantine after exposure to infected patients. Amid the rising number of cases of COVID-19 in the Philippines, President Duterte has declared the fourth week of March 2020 as the National Week of Prayer. Under Proclamation 934, the President asked his fellow Filipinos to offer prayers in a bid to defeat the disease with the aid and blessing of God. The President made the call as he notes the state recognizes the religious nature of the Filipino people and the vital role of faith. The President enjoined everyone to pray for the recovery of the people infected with COVID-19. He also urged the public to pray for those who lost their loved ones, as well as for the protection of all, especially the most vulnerable sectors of society. The President likewise encouraged the entire nation to pray for the safety of the frontliners who are helping to stop the transmission of COVID-19. NUEVA, ECIJA, and AURORA provinces impose lockdown, while CEBU imposes a 24-hour curfew for students and the elderly. More on these and other news in the provinces from Lade Cabagani.
In Nueva Ecija, 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and the death of a patient under investigation have prompted at least 23 towns and cities to impose a lockdown on Saturday. Among these were Coyapo, Zaragoza, Lupao, Gimba, Nampicuan, Santo Domingo, San Jose City, Bungabon, Gapan City, General Natividad, Caranglan, San Leonardo, Talugtog, Lica, Rizal, Talavera, Aliaga, Cabanatuan City, Peñaranda, Jaén, Cabiao, Laor, and Santa Rosa. Under the EO, the city government shall issue a quarantine pass to buy food and essential supplies, medicines, and to go to the hospital for treatment. In Davao City, 2 persons tested positive for the 2019 coronavirus disease. The total number of cases in the whole Davao region is now 3. Mayor Sara Duterte urged the Davaoenos not to panic and reiterated the importance of following the hygiene protocol. In Aurora, the province was placed on a total lockdown on Sunday with all its borders closed to all people, including residents. The move is said to contain the spread of the new coronavirus disease. Exempted are those in need of emergency medical attention and those authorized to conduct necessary government transactions, including health personnel, responders, police, and military personnel who are involved in management of the COVID-19. In Cebu, Governor Gwendolyn Garcia has issued a new policy imposing strict home quarantine to all students and senior citizens aged 65 and above. The round-the-clock curfew is intended to keep the vulnerable sector from the threat of the coronavirus disease. The 24-hour curfew for students and the elderly will exclude those who need to travel for medical care and other such important reasons to be out of the house. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Lade Cabagani.
As workers strive to cope with the effects of COVID-19, the Labor Department offers to provide financial support to affected employees in the private sector. More on this from Christine Lynn Viajante.
The Department of Labor and Employment Lanao del Norte Provincial Office is calling all employers in the private sector who are implementing flexible work arrangement and or under temporary suspension of business operation due to COVID-19 threat to submit their application for DOLE's financial assistance. Based on DOLE's Department Order Number 209 Series of 2020, workers in private establishments affected by COVID-19 crisis could avail financial support and employment facilitation under the COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program or CAMP. CAMP is a safety net program that provides financial support to affected workers in private establishments to mitigate the immediate adverse impacts of COVID-19 pandemic.
Ang component is to assist the workers by giving them a one-time financial assistance in the amount of 5,000 pesos para sa atong mga affected workers in lump sum, non-conditional regardless of employment status.
To avail of CAMP, affected employers must submit an application together with establishment report on COVID-19 pursuant to Labor Advisory Number 9, Series of 2020, and company payroll for the month prior to the implementation of FWAs or temporary closure.
Pwede po nila itong ma-download online. Dito pa lang po sa form na ito, malalaman ngayon ng DOLE ilang mga empleyado ng isang company ang affected na flexible work arrangement. Ang isa pong requirement is yung pong payroll. Dapat po yung payroll na isasubmit ng aplikanteng employer, magtatali po ito sa number of employees po dito, yung mga actual names.
For convenience and to avoid COVID transmission, applications with complete documentary requirements should be submitted online to dole10.covid19@gmail.com, through dole10ldn.covid19@gmail.com by the employers themselves. For PNA Newsroom, Christine Lynn Viajante of PIA Iligan City Information Center.
In our business news, the Joint Task Force Corona Virus Shield on Sunday said they will arrest unscrupulous businessmen and individuals planning to take advantage of the crisis. JTF Coronavirus Shield Commander Guillermo Eleazar said hoarding and reselling disinfectants, masks, and other medical items at higher prices are illegal. This is also in conflict with the guidelines set by the Interagency Task Force for the Luzon-wide enhanced community quarantine. Earlier, PNP Chief General Archie Gamboa said all police units are alerted against hoarding complaints and appeal to the public to immediately report such incidents to authorities. Eleazar said netizens could report hoarders and opportunist resellers to the police through the social media accounts of the PNP. He said the task force has already set up hotlines and even an email account where the public could report their complaints on quarantine-related concerns. Up next, the palace slams the spread of false news regarding a nationwide lockdown. And Singapore offers to donate 3,000 COVID-19 test kits to the Philippines. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang mga dapat gawin sa lugar ng trabaho laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ang mga kumpanya ay dapat magbigay ng face mask sa kanilang mga empleyado. Bukod dito, magbigay kaalaman din patungkol sa COVID-19. Siguraduhing malinis ang kapaligiran. Maglagay ng sabon at hand sanitizer sa mga palikuran. Siguraduhing ligtas at nalutong maigi ang mga pagkain sa kantina. Obserbahan ang kalusugan ng mga empleyado at katrabaho. Kung sakali man na mayroon silang sintomas ng coronavirus disease, gaya ng lagnat, ubot sipon at hirap sa paghinga, ay agad ipasuri sa doktor. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Malacanang tells peddlers of fake news to get themselves disinfected amid reports that there will be a nationwide lockdown to contain the spread of COVID-19. Executive Secretary Salvador Badildea dismissed reports on social media declaring a nationwide lockdown where food will be rationed every 3 days. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo appealed to the public to refrain from listening to fake news, which could not only mislead but also create panic and anxiety. While supporting the enhanced community quarantine implemented in southern Luzon, no efforts will be spared to ensure that communist guerrillas will not be able to commit atrocities against civilians and communities. Southern Luzon Command Chief Antonio Parlade Jr. said they will ensure that the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases will be able to perform its mandate of stopping the spread of COVID-19. Parlade said SOLCOM is coordinating with the local government units and local officials to make sure that they are taking the lead in anti-COVID-19 measures in the respective communities. He said SOLCOM will not allow the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army or CPP-NPA to inflict further harm and trauma to communities already battered by COVID-19. While engaged in efforts to contain COVID-19, the SOLCOM chief and troops will always be on guard as the CPP-NPA is known to attack treacherously despite ceasefires, he said. Parlade added that such measure is called community defense and self-defense. The National Commission on Indigenous Peoples, or NCIP, has called for justice for 2 IP members who were reportedly murdered by the New People's Army. NCIP Chair Alan Capuyan, also Executive Director of the National Task Force on Ending Local Communist Armed Conflict Secretariat, said around 20 fully armed NPA members attacked Barangay Magroyo in San Miguel, Surigao del Sur on March 19. He said tribal leader Dato Bernardino Astudillo and a farmer named Zaldi Ibanez were killed in front of their families and the community. The NPA had repeatedly threatened to execute Datu Bandi after 5 family members surrendered to the government, he said. The attack took place a day after the suspension of military operations from March 19 to April 15 as the government works to contain the spread of COVID-19. AFP Deputy Chief of Staff Antonio Parlade Jr. meanwhile questioned leftist organizations including Bayan Muna for keeping mum on the murder of Datu Bandi and Ibanez. Singapore will donate 3,000 testing kits for the coronavirus disease 2019 and 1 polymerase chain reaction or PCR machine. In a tweet, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. thanked Singapore for the donation. Meanwhile, China's donation of 100,000 COVID-19 test kits, 100,000 surgical masks, 10,000 N95 masks, and 10,000 personal protective equipment or PPE arrived in Manila early Saturday. On Wednesday, Senator Manny Pacquiao donated 600,000 face masks to various frontliners. Pacquiao also donated 5 buses to MMDA for the transportation of health workers and other frontliners. COVID-19 may be a health emergency, but it also has an impact on our mental health. That's why the Department of Health is reminding Filipinos that it's okay not to be okay during this time. The DOH says feeling sad or anxious is normal during a health emergency or crisis. The same feeling happens when one is worried about their stocks or food and medicine due to the quarantine period. News and social media posts can also increase stress. The DOH advises Filipinos to take care of their mental well-being by reaching out to relatives, friends, and loved ones. They may also need to limit social media use or get news and information from reliable sources. If needed, they can talk with a health professional who can give advice on COVID-19, as well as relieving your stress or anxiety over the disease. To talk to a health professional, call the National Center for Mental Health hotlines 0917-899-USAP or 989-USAP. take another look at today's biggest stories. The government formulates additional programs for the poor amid the enhanced community quarantine in Luzon. Malacanang mourns the death of 3 doctors working in the front line against COVID-19. The Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield vows to go after businessmen that will take advantage of the COVID-19 crisis. And Malacanang slams the spread of false news regarding a nationwide lockdown. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more news about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And before we go, we would like to thank all persons who are on the front line to combat the coronavirus disease or COVID-19. May you all remain safe and healthy. And that's a daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am Rom Dulfo. Good day and keep safe.